Welcome to Unity of Montclair. Okay, this is a sing-along, so I want everyone singing along with me. Oh yeah! Now wake everybody up. We had an extra hour of sleep. I've got an attitude, I've got an attitude, I've got an attitude of gratitude. I thank the universe for each new day, whether it's sunny or it's pouring rain. In any situation, time or place, my grateful heart creates a state of grace. Yeah, 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 I got an attitude, I got an attitude, I got an attitude of gratitude. I won't be waiting till my ship comes in. Won't trade my here and now for something then. I haven't found a place where I don't see heaven's blessings pouring down on me. Yeah, 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 yeah. I got an attitude, got an attitude, got an attitude of gratitude. There we go. When Jesus fed the hungry multitude, he did it with a graceful attitude. Although it looked like there was not enough, he thanked the Spirit for abundant love. Say yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Say yeah, 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 yeah. I got an attitude, got an attitude, got an attitude of gratitude. Play it out, love. Got an attitude, I've got an attitude, I've got an attitude of gratitude. Now hold on, now look, be chord. I used to pray and cry for deliverance. Said desperate, please, 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 to the heavens. But it wasn't until I gave up and got still, I could see all the gifts I've been given. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I've got an attitude, attitude, attitude of gratitude. One more time. Oh yeah. Got an attitude, attitude, attitude of gratitude. Welcome to Unity of Montclair, a positive path for spiritual living. My name is Tanya Thomasy, and I will be your celebration assistant for today. And Shea Maultsby, also known as Peaceful Praise, will now open up our service in prayer.
So if everyone wants to to take a deep breath in and allow ourselves to go into that place where the attitude of gratitude has taken hold within each and every one of us. In this here now, we are so grateful for all that is in our lives and all that is presented each and every day for us to move through, for us to work with, for us to extend our loving hands towards. We just say thank you, God, for the magnificence that shows up in our lives as miracles and challenges. So in this moment, we open our hearts wide, knowing that we will receive what we are here to receive today. It may be different for each and every one of us, but we are so grateful because we know that as we move through this time, we will go forth blessing others as we are blessed here now. So in the name and nature of the Christ consciousness that stands within us at each moment, we say, and so it is.
So it is. This morning, we welcome Peaceful Praise, our dear friend Shea Maultsby, and we look forward to her spiritual message. So in order for us to have an uninterrupted experience, we ask that you take this moment to silence your phones so that we can co-create a meaningful space for worship. Here at Unity of Montclair, we believe in God as the power of absolute goodness, truth, and love in all things, and we know that this very same power is in you. In this place of spiritual transformation, we walk our path together and we support each other with unconditional love. If this is your first time here, we are so glad that you are with us. Wherever you are on your spiritual path, we're glad that you're here. Welcome home. Let us now share our vision and mission together by saying the words on the screen. Together? One in spirit, we experience a world awakened to higher consciousness. And our mission statement. We are a vibrant, inclusive spiritual community transforming lives through inspiration, sacred service, and lifelong learning.
Please join me in welcoming our friend, Peaceful Praise, Shea Maultsby.
Well, thank you, everyone. Happy Sunday. Thanks for attending. Thanks for being the bright lights, the emanations of the Most High. I am so joy-filled to be back here at my birthplace. I call this my spiritual birthplace. And I thank, again, all of you and everyone who will be listening to the podcast in the future. Before we go into the talk about the power of elimination, I invite each of you to take a look at this image on the screen. It's a body with a big, bright heart. That is the activation of divine mind, the divine mind in action. So I'm going to invite each and every one of you to just close your eyes, and we're going to move into our heart spaces and activate this divine mind action within us. So each take a deep breath. Move your awareness to your heart space, to that area of our bodies that is the pathway to the divine connection. Now envision, feel, intuit your mind connecting with your heart, your divine mind. Now allow your heart space to open wider and wider. Doesn't that feel good? Yeah, you can smile. This feels good. We are now in an elevated frequency, enabling us to receive what is ours to receive. You can open your eyes, come back to this space, and thank each and every one of you. So in the book, The 12 Powers by Charles Fillmore, he calls the 11th power the power of renunciation, which is now referred to as the power of elimination. Well, what is renunciation? Well, in the dictionary, it is defined as the formal recognition of something, the formal rejection of something, typically a belief, claim, or course of action. Now, in the book titled The Revealing Word by Charles Fillmore, he defines renunciation as a letting go of old thoughts in order that new thoughts may find a place in consciousness. He goes on to say a healthy state of mind is attained when a thinker willingly lets go of the old thoughts and takes on the new. In the book titled How to Use Your 12 Gifts from God, William Wirsch defines this as your ability to eliminate negative thought, feelings, beliefs from your consciousness. Now, I have to admit, the first time I saw the word renunciation and thought of it as a power, it got me thinking of my young church days where we would rebuke something, right? We would rebuke something that was not supposed to be. I'm rebuking that power in my life, right? Well, Charles refined it a little bit, calling it renunciation. Now, we already talked about the fact that now we call this power the power of elimination. So I kind of contemplated on that, and I don't know if this is really why, but what came to me is that in the Bible, when people take on a new way of being, when their conscious elevates, their name changes. So for example, Simon became Peter. Simon is the first disciple. Originally, his name was Simon, which is right hearing. And as he elevated in consciousness, he moved into a state of faith. And in that, he became the rock, and his name changed to Peter. So it seems to me that as we have matured spiritually, we have moved from this term renunciation, and now we are activating this power in an elevated consciousness of elimination. So what is the definition of elimination? Well, the dictionary says the complete removal or destruction of something. On unity.org, it's defined as the ability to release, remove, denounce, deny, to let go. So again, as we spiritually mature, we recognize that we can use this power of elimination not only to release the negative, but literally to release what no longer serves us, what no longer serves our highest good. There's plenty of things in our lives that we've done in the past, that we've thought in the past, that helped us move along, that were not actually negative. But now we're at a different place. We're at a different level of consciousness. We are at a different level of being, which requires us to be different, to think different, to act different, to have a different energy. So we can use elimination to help us move in this new way of being. So many of us at Unity of Montclair right now are in small groups, and we're reading this powerful book by Eric Butterworth called Spiritual Economics. And I don't know about the rest of you reading this book, but I am seriously practicing the power of elimination, because I have to eliminate my old thoughts, my old words about abundance, about prosperity. So this entire book is a journey of the power of elimination. So you guys picked a fantastic book for the 11th month, for this 11th power to activate in our lives. So I was thinking about how have I used elimination in my life? And all of us are familiar with denials and affirmations, and I've used them to try to unearth some things out of me. But again, as I contemplated on this power, I realized we can go a little deeper. And y'all know I like to go deep, right? Get out the shovels now, get out the shovels. Let's go a little deeper. So the word surrender, that felt to me like a deeper level of this power. So the definition in the dictionary says to give oneself up to the power of another. To give oneself up to the power of another. Now, I actually like this definition because as a metaphysician, let's go behind those words, right? And what is this saying? It's saying to give oneself their earthly powers, the ego self, up into the power of another, their true self, their Christ consciousness. So I'm going to say that again. To give oneself's earthly powers, the ego self, up into the power of another, their true self, their Christ self. So then I had to think some more about surrender. And I said, well, do I practice surrender? And I have to admit, I don't practice surrender. Have I surrendered in my life? Yes. When I was resisting, when I thought I could do it all, when I was like, hey, I'm connected to God, I got ideas, I know how to move this thing, I know how to activate this, but it wasn't moving, it wasn't activating. And I was resisting. I wasn't willing to open up to what I didn't know. Right? God can dream a bigger dream. And I found myself at times, I have to admit, on my knees on the floor, in a ball like a fetus. I was surrendering, but not from that conscious place, not from that alignment with God, from that resistance, when I could do no more, when all I could do, and I'm not a crier, when all I could do was cry and say, oh, activate within me, right? Recognizing that God is not outside of me, but it moves inside of me and through me. So I'm really happy that we're talking about this power, because I like to move us all into the conscious awareness that we can practice this power without our last minute, that 12th hour, like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? Well, we can activate it up front. We can walk in that activation. So again, let's go a little deeper. God is love. So in 1 John chapter 4, verse 16, it says, God is love. Whoever lives in love lives in God, and God in them. Let that just land. So today, right, we sung about let go, let God. It was so moving. And now we're invited to up-level that into let go and let love. To let go and let love, to activate this power of elimination, this power of surrender, along with the power of love, the fourth power. These powers don't work just alone. When we activate one power, ultimately we are activating another. When we do this consciously, we can move and groove with ease and grace. So let go, let love. So no longer just giving our cares and challenges to a power outside of us, right? Because we recognize that power is all of us. It moves through each and every one of us. Yeah. Each and every day, each and every minute. Not simply eliminating old thoughts and feelings and then reaching for a higher frequency or a higher knowing, but remembering that God is love. And if God is love, I am love. Right? So when I let go and I let love, I activate both the power, again, of elimination and the power of love within me. So I can touch way beyond I can reach. I can move things in my life the way that earthly folk can't move. Because the God self is working through me. This power is working through me. I don't know about y'all, but this sounds like a game changer to me. This is a shapeshifter, right? Yeah. Right? This is a shapeshifter. So not only changing me, but changing how I think, how I act, and how situations appear in my experience, right? So when I surrender and I open this heart space and I let go and I let love, right? I open this pathway to divine mind. Suddenly a thought I didn't have before comes to mind. And I can move to the resolution of a challenge much more easier, right? The resistance I had is no longer clogging up the communication pathways of the collective consciousness, and suddenly my phone rings and it's a friend who had an intuitive thought to call me with some information that's going to help me. Have any of you had that experience? Yeah, right. When we start to open up and surrender, using this power of elimination and surrender in our lives, things just start to happen. And it's beautiful. Let go, and what are the words of that song? Yeah, let go, let God, and let go into the is it the mystery?
Oh, let go of the shore.
Yeah.
Let go of the shore.
Yeah, let go of the shore.
Go float to the ocean.
Yeah. Float into the ocean of divine mind. That is so beautiful. So, as I got quiet and contemplated some more, this is the phrase that I heard. So when I move into my intuition, we all have our intuitive nature. We are all intuitive. We just intuit differently. My natural forms of intuition are hearing and knowing. So I literally hear. And I know when it's me, when it's my ego me, and then when it's the higher me. Right? So what I heard was, when we surrender to our hearts, we eliminate the impact of the ways of the world upon us. This activity enables our true nature, love, to shine through. I'm going to read that again. When we surrender to our hearts, we eliminate the impact of the ways of the world upon us. This activity enables our true nature, love, to shine through. So what is that really saying? It's saying when we surrender, and again, when we go into this open heart space, right? The pathway to divine connection. Like Jesus, we elevate into and merge with the Christ consciousness. We shift from being of the world to just simply being in the world. Not of the world. Being in the world. And when we are in that space, we activate some laws that are beyond the earthly ones. All right, so that sounds great, but how do we do this? Right? So we got to talk about some tools. I can't leave here without talking about some tools. So you know what is number one on my list? Prayer and meditation. Yes. The ancient technologies that unity is tied into. Prayer and meditation. Right? Prayer eliminates the illusion that we are separate from God. Eric Butterworth wrote in The Power Within that God is in us like water is in a wave. I'm talking about water again. God is in us like water is in a wave. That's powerful. Think about that. God is in us like water is in a wave, in you, in each and every one of us. So prayer moves us into alignment with our true nature. And then meditation moves us into a frequency where the elimination and the surrender can become resident within our consciousness and within all of the cells within our bodies. So that's one tool. Well, I like to call them one, even though they're two things. They seem to go together to me. The second one is forgiveness. That hit home, huh? That hit home. The practice of forgiveness is surrender in action. Think about that. Think about the times when you have actively forgiven. You are surrendering. You are letting it go for real. You are working on letting it go. Not just in this realm, but in every realm. So it helps us to eliminate our ties to past situations, past actions that were not really for our highest good. Situations where we weren't moving and grooving in our higher consciousness. And situations with people where they weren't moving and grooving in their higher consciousness. So, again, that forgiveness can really open up some space for us. I took an affirmation from Susie Orman, the financial expert, right? And I modified it a little bit. And I've been saying this for years. And It goes, I forgive and release all those who have hurt, harmed, and angered me. And I ask to be forgiven and released by all those who I have hurt, harmed, and angered. So I'm going to share that again. I forgive and release all those who have hurt, harmed, and angered me. And I ask to be forgiven and released by all those who I have hurt, harmed, and angered. Would you like to say that?
Yeah.
Would you repeat after me? I forgive and release all those who have hurt, harmed, and angered me. And I ask to be forgiven and released by all those who I have hurt, harmed, and angered. Now, sometimes I add misled in there too. And then sometimes I add knowing or unknowingly, right?
Okay.
But sometimes we know we're stepping into some stuff, right? And sometimes we're not conscious. And I like to use that term, all those, to represent anything and everything that I need to release, that I need to forgive, whether it's people, situations, actions, thoughts, words, energy, literally anything. All right, so another tool, one that we use very often in unity. Again, it's two things that I like to add together, denials and affirmations. Denials and affirmations. So we all know that denial is like the shovel that's digging up stuff, right? And creating a space for us to plant anew. And the affirmation is the planting. And as we continue to practice the affirmations, right, those seeds that we planted grow. So I have an affirmation I'd like to share. And it's a denial and affirmation, actually. I release anything and everything that no longer serves the highest good of all. And with an open heart, I align with divine mind and activate all of the 12 powers within me. So would you like to repeat after me?
Yes.
I release anything and everything that no longer serves the highest good of all. And with an open heart, I align with divine mind and activate all of the 12 powers within me. Yes, so it is. That felt good. So I have one more tool, which I have to thank our beloved Carol Vasquez. It is attributable to you for real. And it is called Praise with Song.
Yes. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Yes.
Praise with Song. So Carol reminded me this past week that music is a wonderful vehicle to help us let go, surrender, and elevate our frequency. So as I was thinking of this, right, I thought of the song by Ricky Byers Beckwith, I Release and I Let Go.
Yes.
Do you guys know the chorus?
Oh, yeah.
You want to sing it with me?
Yeah.
All right. So, I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. And yes, I'm only here for God. Y'all sound good. Y'all sound good. And there was one more song I thought of by Ricky Byers Beckwith. It's called The Love Song. And part of the song goes, love, 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 love. Please join me. Love, love, are love. We are love. Sing it out now. Come on now. Love. Give it to me. Give it to me. Love. That's who you are. That's what you are. Every time you let go, you let love. And so it is. Thank you.